is final in Gainesville. Florida goes down 83-82. Elijah Martin made a three there at the buzzer to cut the lead to 1. So a loss there for Florida. Does this change, CJ, your view in what Florida can be in any way, or is this just kind of one of those nights where Missouri got it going, they fought back, but they just didn't have enough?
Yeah, I don't think it changes what I think Florida can be. I mean, it's a little disappointing that they would lose a game at home, but I think it's just kind of a hangover from they had a huge week of wins last week, two big ones, and Missouri came out really, really hot. Missouri can do this to people like Kansas. They ran them off the floor the first half. They're a team that gets a lot of deflections. They can get hot from three. And, man, Caleb Grell was out there looking like Reggie Miller tonight. So I don't think that I don't maybe think any less of Florida, really. I still think this is a really good team. But it is disappointing that, you got to protect your home floor if you want to win a conference title. And that's where, they're in trouble right now. Them and Alabama tonight, those are big losses.
Mm-hmm. Randolph, what do you make of Florida's loss?
I don't think much of it. I do think for them, defending home court, coming out a little better has to be better. They have to be better and try to come out with a win like that. But I think they're a really good team, big physical team. I expect Florida to stay in the top 10 pretty much all year long. I don't see them losing next game. I think they'll respond. But obviously we talked about the SEC all the time. But if they stay healthy, they'll be there when it matters.
Can I just say I am a little bit worried about Florida defensively. I know that they held Tennessee to 43 points or whatever it was. But I do think, that I can't shake what Kentucky did to them offensively. Like, it's hard for me not to sit here and be like, well, look, they just gave up a 50 spot to a Missouri team at home in a game that you need to win. I don't know, man. Like, I'm a little bit, and to put it into context, like, I'm saying this as maybe they're like a 2 or a 3 seed as opposed to really being in that like number 1 seed conversation. But I am worried about them defense. I think the numbers are, I don't want to say like fraudulent is probably too harsh, but I think that their defensive numbers might be a little bit inflated in terms of what you can actually execute against them, if that makes sense, CJ.
I don't know, man. They've got bigs that can move. They play hard. They've got, they got size on the perimeter. Elijah Martin will guard his butt off. Like, I just think they ran into a team that was really freaking hot, and Kentucky was throwing in everything that night too. Maybe if we see another couple of these performances, you start to worry. But when I just look at the way they defend in the last week, like, those were 2 terrific defensive performances. And I'm not too worried about their defense yet. Like, I think these were just kind of outlier games.
You agree?
If you want to be technical about it, I think they play with more of traditional bigs, like two traditional bigs. Like, their bigs aren't great shooters. They're not stretch guys. They're more inside, outside, high-low action guys. And if you have a guy like Mark Mitchell tonight, and ability to beat him off the bounce a little bit. If you got a stretch 4 type of guy, you can present some problem to them. But I think that they guard, they're physical, they're a big team perimeter. I'm not worried about them at all. I mean, everybody has certain things that'll bother them, and having stretch guys that can affect, for bigs, it can affect the game. But they got multiple guys. They're gonna play at least 8 or 9 deep. If they stay healthy, I think they're good enough to be there.
All right, I'm going to make the Kansas alum here say nice things about Missouri. CJ, how good is this team? I mean, they're 13-3 overall. They're 3-1 in the SEC. They got to win. They got to win against Kansas. They just won at Florida, a top 5. Like, that is their first road win over a top 5 team since 2012 when they beat Baylor on the road by a single point again. I mean, look, Dennis Gates went from his first season in Columbia. This is wild. Wins 25 games.
That's wild.
Makes the second round of the tournament. Second season in Columbia goes over in the year 2024, right? And then in this season, he started out 13-3 and is now 3-1 in the SEC. What do you make of this team, man? Like, are they for real? Obviously, they got to be.
I'll give him this about last year. Like, they did have John Tanji. Like that was probably a smart move getting him. He just ended up being hurt the whole year. So who knows what it would have ended up like last year if he would have been healthy. But I think they're good. Like, when they make shots, obviously offensively they go to another level when they can make shots, as everybody does. But he does have a lot of different guys that can make threes. Caleb Grill, the kid from Kansas City, the lefty that was at Indiana. I'm spacing on his name right now, but Tamar Bates. Yeah, they got guys that can make shots. They play off their defense. Like, when they're getting turnovers, when they're getting deflections, when they can kind of get it up and down, they're pretty good. The guy that I really loved when he was in high school and that was terrific tonight was Anthony Robinson. I think he's the guy that kind of raises their level when he plays really well. But Tony Perkins has been a good fit. It's just like he just kind of went out and got a bunch of random dudes, and they're playing hard for him. And when they make shots, they're pretty darn good. But their defense is what can really annoy people, because they're long, they're quick, and they get a ton of deflections.